fine. This is it. It always tells me we are live when I expect at least. So apparently we are. So welcome everybody. Um, we are going to have a look at what it means to lead for legacy, what it means to be a dream boss to yourself and your dream team, dream business, dream organization. And by the way, feel free to comment, feel free to ask questions. I will actually want to make sure that we can do that. So I will start chatting publicly with you. Um, Hello, feel free to ask your questions. Okay, because what we want to do is make sure that we get your questions answered at any point in time, right? If you're watching this live, join in, ask your questions. I will try to answer. If you're watching the replay, then no worries. You can still put your questions in the comments and then I will answer them. So we're discussing, I will show you in a minute. Lead for a legacy. Be a dream boss for yourself and your dream team. And why that is important, especially now, is because the dream was that we would have a dream career, remember? That we would build a dream team, that we would probably dream and build a dream business, and so on. So there was a lot of dreaming around our best life, about the best career possible for us, about how we would be happy, what would make us happy, about what we will be doing. So let's not let this dream become a nightmare, right? We still have so many things under our control so that we keep dreaming and we keep building and enabling our dreams. So I would like to start with this. Introduce myself, basically. So my name is Roxana Radulescu. I am the Chief Game Changer and founder of All Personal, training, coaching, and consulting business. Proudly the first Canadian game-changing index partner and also a partner to Chart e-learning solutions. So what that means, an e-learning platform with over 250 online courses in leadership, in sales, and customer service. And I'm proud to have contributed with building and designing and delivering an emotional intelligence course that is fully online. My background is actually 15 years in corporate learning and development, top legal consulting firms and teams. And I'm so proud to be part of the TEDx speaker roster and to be a contributing author to other e-learning platforms and organizations that care about the future of work and how we're building that. So that being said, we're not going to talk about me today. What we are going to talk about today, um, this is what we will be covering. The top current issues, the top skills that bring you back in the driver's seat, the importance of self-care for high performance, and you're also getting some self-care techniques. You'll see a few tips about building, engaging, and motivating your team for the long run. In the end, I have a surprise for you, so stay with me until then. Get your coffee, get your water, get comfortable, ask your questions here at any point, and let's get to it. So let's start with the top current issues. And these are questions that I got from the dream bosses that I've worked with throughout 2020 and stuff that they had to deal with. And that came in as more crucial than it was before. And now, if you're managing people and teams, you probably have similar questions. How do we build our team for the long run while the world around us changes by the minute, right? How do you build a team not just in a changing environment, but in a continuously changing environment and in a crisis after crisis? How do you react to that? How do we support, motivate, and help each other grow so that the business grows? Because the reality is we still want to grow as individuals. We want to grow our business. We want to grow the level of service as well. But how do we do that in this permanently changing environment? How do we scale our team and bring the right people who are aligned with the culture, the values, the goals, and the existing team members, right? That's huge, so that we can grow the business through uncertainty. Because the last thing you want is add more challenges to your business with a bad hire or with good people on your team leaving the team. And then we're talking about costs, and not just financial costs, but also psychological costs, right? If you have a team member who's so good and they're leaving, the psychological cost on you as the team manager or the leader and the remaining team members, that's a huge psychological cost that we're also talking about that will definitely have an impact on financial costs. How do we feel less anxiety and stress? That's a good one, right? And more in control and productive, given that, again, everything is changing all the time. And then how do we bring in more diversity and creativity so that we build innovative solutions for our customers and keep growing the business? Because that's what we want to do. And the thing is, we still have to come up with solutions for our clients. It's just that the reality around us changed, the environment around us changed. So that is why we have to be more creative and innovative so that we think about new ways of doing things, maybe new ways that we wouldn't have thought about before. And we've seen that happening a lot. And I'm sure you've gone through some brainstorming and came up with some ideas that weren't there before and have implemented some stuff that you wouldn't have thought of implementing, let's say, last year, this time last year. So the thing is, we need to keep doing that because the reality keeps changing. So the creativity, the level of creativity needs to grow. Now, on top of all of these questions, my question is, who's taking care of you? And that should be your question for yourself. And how? And I do hope your answer is, well, I'm taking care of myself, because first of all, it should be you. Because as somebody who manages people in teams, you're probably taking care of everybody around you, right? You're taking care of your team. If you have a direct manager, you're taking care of them. If you have a business partner that you're managing your people in team, you're taking care of your business partner as well, at least from time to time. If you have a family, you take care of team family at home. And in the middle of this, who's taking care of you? And how do you feel supported? How do you feel connected? How do you feel that you're heard and understood and not judged? Or at least you can have a space where you can talk and you can talk to people who might have similar challenges with you and are not, and they don't have any expectation from you. That I find that is such a huge issue for people who are not top level executives, the kind of people who manage people, teams, projects, budgets, and they're there in the middle, they're boots on the ground, they're so hands-on, and at this point in time they feel lost, they feel isolated, they feel that they're not heard. That might be you. So that is my question. That's why I have this question. Who's taking care of you? And if you stay with me until the end, you will be getting some answers as to how you can take care of yourself so that you perform at high levels without feeling overwhelmed, without feeling lost, and without feeling exhausted. And you're in for a surprise from me at the end. So stay with me. All right. So I said that we will be talking about the top skills right now that we need to train for 2021 and beyond. It's our skills. I like to call them our skills muscles because really it is all about working them out regularly the way that we work out our body muscles at the gym or when the gyms are open, right? And it's safe to go. But anyway, if you have some routines and habits that you do at home, some exercises that you do at home, it's the same thing, right? We don't expect that we go to the gym once or twice a year and then we're fit. We don't have this expectation with our body muscles, but we do have this expectation when we talk about personal and professional development. So when we talk about building our skills muscles, we expect immediate results. And this is why I've seen so many times the lack of return on investment and return on expectations, because expectations are very high, from people who attend courses like communication, presentation, people management, all of those management and leadership programs. If they're 1 or 3 days or a full week, and then you go once and that's it, you're left alone. And now, how do I go about applying everything that I learned in that session? How do I apply that in my work? And that's why people are so disappointed, first of all, because you need time and you need support to actually be able to implement the stuff that you learn and put it into practice. There's a full journey from finding out about stuff that's possible to do until mastering that stuff and embedding it in the way that we work or in the way that we function in the world, right? It's about creating a new habit, and that takes time. So let's have a look at what we can do to train our skills muscles. And here is what I found in a research that I've done about the top skills that are in high demand right now. And I want to say this. To me, this is a myth. And I'm going to show you why. Because if anyone tells you, oh, these are the 5 skills that you need, and you'll be ready to go, it does not work this way. Because here, I can put the top 5 skills. By the way, these are the 5 skills in high demand right now. And I think they come as no surprise to you. Adaptability, people management, change management, surprise, surprise, right? Time and project management and business mindset. So just 5 skills, right? Talking about myths, and why it is a myth to me is because this is a quick fix. And in personal and professional development, there are no quick fixes. We're not cars that go to the car shop for repair and then we're good to go. We're people, and it takes time to develop a skill and to master the skill. And again, it takes everything that is important to us that will have a result on what we're doing and how we're doing things takes time. And look, under adaptability, we have emotional intelligence, self-care, and creativity. These are just three more under just one skill. And then you get people management, communication. And you know what I'm going to say, right? Under communication, you have so many things to think about. What kind of communication? Is it verbal? Is it non-verbal? Is it team communication? Is it communication with superiors, with peers? What kind of communication are you talking about here? Teamwork and collaboration. These are, again, we can, if we look under each of these, we can split into bits and pieces that we need to find out about, and then pieces that we need to practice so that we can master. And this is why, for instance, in my bundle of critical skills for game-changing leaders, to cover just these top 5 skills, I have 8 modules that go deep into analyzing and giving people the tools that they need so that they can manage crises, they can manage difficult situations, they can enhance their communication with their team, they can understand how they work and how they react to the environment so that they can become fully aware of how other people react to the environment. So you look at modules like emotional intelligence, coaching and mentoring, um, expertise and employee retention. Again, we were talking about the financial costs of bad hires and then of people who are good for your team leaving your team. Career development, responsible initiative, change management, time and project management. So all of these will be covering the top 5 skills that you're talking about. So you're not looking at quick fixes. If you want to do something that's meaningful to you, that will take time and that will take effort. You just need to know, okay, what do I need to learn and where do I start, right? Because the reality again is that also under all of these 8 course modules, look at what each of them goes into depth on, right? I mean, we're not talking about, oh, I need my tires replaced. Yeah, okay, fine, that's it. No, we're talking about finding out what's possible for me. And then I understand, what do I need to know next? What do I need to learn about? From everything that I've learned, what is realistic for me to start applying in my individual context, with my team, with my business, for my organization? And then I start to make a plan and I start applying day after day after day, and I start tweaking and then changing what doesn't work. And I keep applying until I've created a habit. It's like driving that car. And for those of you who are drivers, think about how it was at the beginning when, and we all know that it's a process. At the beginning, we're just not even imagining that we will be able to drive and relax at the same time. And then after a while, you just do things because they become habits. So if I can tell you to start somewhere, this is where you start. You start with emotional intelligence. Because, first of all, of this quote, because it is the difference that makes the difference. And a lack of emotional intelligence is what limits some people in their ability to manage themselves, manage others, and manage situations. This is what emotional intelligence is all about. And I really wanted to share this quote with you because it's one of the best definitions of emotional intelligence that I could find. And it comes from the director of innovation at Microsoft. Emotional intelligence is all about managing ourselves, managing others, managing situations, managing our relationships. You want to have better relationships and manage them better. you start with managing yourself. You start from emotional intelligence. Because here's a study from the Chartered Institute of Personnel and Development in the UK, who said that nearly as much as 80%, 80 of the reasons why careers are derailed can be traced to weaknesses in emotional intelligence. And really, here's what we're talking about. We're talking about the three primary causes of career failure: poor interpersonal skills, people who are not good team players, and difficulties in handling change. Now, that's a lot. And we talked about that. We talked about that when we talked about the skills that we need to perform at high levels 2021 and beyond. So, because I gave you the primary causes of career failure, here are the predictors of career success. They also connect directly with emotional intelligence because it's the capacity to deal with a diverse range of issues, our ability to manage our emotions, and managing social skills. That is all related to emotional intelligence. And I talk about it extensively in my emotional intelligence course. But I'm going to give you the framework of emotional intelligence here so you understand why it all starts with ourselves and why I say that you want to become a better leader. You want to manage people, teams, situations, clients, projects better. You start with yourself because it all starts with self-awareness. And self-awareness means I look at me and my action and reaction in different situations. And I look at what works for me, what I'd like to keep, and what I'd like to change. I look at what frustrates me, what triggers me, what makes me happy, what gives me joy, what makes me tired, what makes me exhausted. I look at everything and I think about, okay, these are some things that I do that work well for me. This I would like to change. So, what do I need to do next time I'm in a similar situation so that I can come up with a different kind of behavior? Self awareness is all about noticing and thinking about a change in behavior, because really we're very much before self-awareness, we're very much in that point where we're not even aware of why we do what we do. So that's why it's okay. Self-awareness is that's step, not even step number one, that's step two, because lack of self-awareness is one. Okay, so from self-awareness, we move into self-management, because then I look at, okay, what behaviors do I need to change and how am I going to change them? And what am I going to manage? Because I will start recognizing my emotions and my triggers, which I will want to change. And because I want to change them, that means I'm managing them, right? I'm managing my action and reaction because I want to deal with that situation better. So that means I'm managing myself. And that sounds easy when you look at it this way. That's a lot of work, and that doesn't happen overnight, and that has to be done regularly. But the beauty of it, once you start doing it, you will keep doing it. There's no stopping you. You just go and you start noticing more and more things that are going to be more and more helpful. And what this brings is interpersonal skills. And the first one is social awareness. Because I will be aware of how I react and what my triggers are, I will start to become aware of other people around me and what makes them happy, or angry or frustrated or triggered or whatever it is. And I look at it differently because I look at it from a place of understanding and looking for solutions. Okay, what can we do to find a mutual solution that works for both of us? That allows me to develop empathy, and that's another discussion. And really, if you want to take the emotional intelligence course, I'm going to put the link to it in the description of this video. But that is how we develop our empathy, which is our capacity to just be there for other people without judging, without offering solutions, but just trying to understand where they come from and trying to help them discover their own solutions. And because I'm going to be more socially aware, that's when I'm able to manage my relationships better. So that comes last, and it comes from social awareness and self-management, but it all starts with self-awareness. So you want better relationship management, you start with self-awareness. That's how it works. And by the way, you will benefit from the whole relationship management and social awareness and everything that this gives you, both at home and at work. Because really, there's no line. The way that we manage stress and difficult conversations and conflicts at home is going to definitely impact the way in which we're going to approach them at work, and the other way around. But the thing is, the whole pattern of how we are having difficult conversations, how we're used to having difficult conversations, starts from home, from the family, from ever since we're kids. And we do grow up, and we take that baggage with us pretty much everywhere we go. That doesn't mean I cannot at some point say, okay, my baggage, you stay here because I don't need you right now. I can manage the situation myself. I don't need you. And that's what emotional intelligence does. It helps us ditch those habits that are no longer good for us, because we need to grow, because we need to handle conflict and difficulty differently than we used to when we were younger or when we were kids. Okay, so I'm not gonna insist on this because we have to talk about more stuff. Okay, so because we said emotional intelligence is where we start, because it's about self-awareness and self-management. Let's look at the importance of self-care for high performance. And I wanted to start with saying what you already know. You can't pour from an empty cup. You need to take care of yourself first. And here's why. First of all, as we know, life is a marathon, not a sprint. And talking about marathons, this is me in 2013 running the Bucharest Half Marathon. Um, I don't run half marathons anymore because my knees hurt. So that's a lesson that I learned, that, you know, you can do something and not prepare properly, but then you will suffer the consequences. And you can only doing for as long as you can, because at some point, the risk is that you're not able to do it anymore. And that is relevant when we talk about high performance for long term, because we need to start thinking of ourselves as high performing athletes. And look at this. The high performance that we're talking about, that is long term, that's a cycle. When we talk about high performance, we don't talk about just the performance itself. We're not supposed to be talking just about running the half marathon, in my case, right? We talk about preparation, performance, and recovery. That's the full cycle. There is no high performance without either of these. And this comes on three levels: emotional, physical, and mental, right? Now, think about it this way. Think about high performing athletes who participate in the Olympic Games. Now, the Olympics are not every day, they're every 4 years. But as a high performing athlete, you don't start preparing for the Olympics the week before the Olympics or the month before. No, what you do as a high performing athlete is you prepare in between your participation at the Olympic Games. So you prepare 4 years to get you to the point where you actually go to the Olympics, and then you need high performance then for the 2 weeks that the Olympic Games last for, because that's when you want to win the gold medal, right? That's what you've been preparing for. That's what you've been training for, to get you there and perform at super high levels. But the thing is, if you haven't prepared in the meantime, and if you don't know the ways in which you can recover so that your body can function at high levels when you need it to, then you're not going to win. And also, what happens is you're at the Olympics, you're having a bad day in that particular competition. Maybe 2 days later, you need to be in another competition. So, what you need to do is pick yourself up after that bad day and prepare and recover so that you are in top shape for the next race that you're going to participate in, right? So it's not just that, oh, I'm going to go and now I'm ready. And what do you do after you fall? How do you recover? How do you pick yourself up? How do you get that kind of energy and motivation? We talk about motivation and engagement. Well, sometimes you're just having a bad day. You cannot expect the same level of engagement and motivation on a bad day because you just couldn't work properly. Something happened. It wasn't there. You couldn't work properly. You weren't at 100%. That happens. But the whole point of high performance is that you will know what to do and how to do it to pick yourself up so that that bad day doesn't turn into a full bad week or month or year, right? That bad day was something that needed to happen so that you learn from it, not stay in it. This is why I'm saying high performance is a cycle. So when you think about you and how you work, you're going to have good days, you're going to have bad days. And there's only so much that you can do on a bad day. There are days when we're not 100% productive. We're somewhere at 60%, 70%. That is fine. As long as I'm aware of that and I know that, hey, when I'm at 60%, I can only do that much. I'm not going to stretch myself and force myself to do more than that because it's simply not going to work. And I risk that I strain my ankle. I risk that I do something, I make a mistake that I will need to fix after, and it will take me longer to fix the mistake than if I just stop and not do anything right now and plan it for tomorrow. And then I prepare for tomorrow so that tomorrow is a better day for me. And by the way, this goes for your team as well. Your team, they're all high performing athletes if you want them to perform at high levels. So think about them this way. They're going to have good days and bad days. And you need to consider that too. And if you're all on a bad day at the same time, that's even more challenging. But that is why You need to be aware of this cycle. And I will just stop here. But before I do, I will just give you the 7 laws of self-care for high performance. And you can feel free to share them with your team or with your manager as well, or with your business partner if that's the case. You don't participate in the Olympics 100% of the time, right? We cannot expect ourselves and everybody else around us to be on 100% of the time. That's just not possible. This is not for people. This is for even cars don't work this way. Sometimes they're not at 100%. You need to take care of yourself before you can take care of your team or others around you, like the oxygen mask on a plane, right? You put it on first so that you can help people around you after. The way in which you deal with yourself is going to have a direct impact on how you deal with others, and we all know that. We're having a good day, we spread joy all around us. We're having a bad day, we bring clouds and rain with us everywhere we go. But that is really what emotional intelligence helps you with, because you know you're having a bad day. And you know what? You know how to manage yourself so that you don't have a super bad impact on everybody around you. You minimize that. Structured, consistent work on yourself means that then you can understand how you can help your team or your business or your organization. And that long term, not just for today or for this week or for this month. Long-term high performance, that includes preparation and recovery. Don't forget that it's a full cycle. Prepare to prevent. It's like in my case with running and with the knees, if I'd prepared better, my knees wouldn't have hurt. And by the way, and probably I could still be running half marathons and who knows, marathons, but I can't. So, because I didn't prepare and I also didn't know how to recover properly. So think about that. When you think about business, organizations, teams, we don't address people challenges now. We're going to see the effects, and quite soon, actually. And that goes to my number 7. People challenges are business challenges. Always, if you look at long term, what happens to your team, what happens to you, what happens to the people who do the work is going to have a direct impact on how you perform as a business, as an organization, and so on. Because when people are exhausted and in burnout, who's going to be left to do the work? Like who? Make your own laws if you want. I wanted to share these with you. You can definitely add, you can definitely challenge them if you want. But I think these are good to consider, especially in times of crisis. Okay. And because we were talking about the cycle of preparation and performance and recovery, that is what the power of habit gives you. Because when you have the right routine in place to help you with that cycle, there's no way you can't perform at high levels long term. Because motivation is what gets you started, but habit is what keeps you going. I love that. And again, when you talk about motivation for yourself and for your team, think about that. At the beginning, yeah, we feel excited. You have a new project you feel excited about. That's fine. But then what do I do? What needs to happen to keep that excitement in place, to keep that motivation in place? And this is why I wanted to talk to you about self-care strategies, because taking care of ourselves means exactly that. It means routines. And here's what we're talking about: daily routines, right? So morning, day or noon, and evening. And I'm just going to give you a few ideas that you can think about using or implementing. But you need to try out your own thing and see what works and adjust, right? Because not everything works for everybody. There is no general recipe. So in the morning, you can meditate, read or listen to something inspiring, journal or record things, exercise, and it can be anything, right? Yoga, running, workout, walking, biking, whatever it is that you do, but do it 5 days a week. And it doesn't have to be one full hour of workouts. No, you have time, you have 10 minutes one morning, you do something for 10 minutes. You know, you have 30 minutes tomorrow, you book 30 minutes of running tomorrow. So work with what is possible and what is realistic. Don't set unrealistic expectations and don't think, oh, in the movies they do this. Well, I don't care. My life is not in a movie. My life is here. So I need to do the best I can with what's possible for me right now. Power poses, I want to share this with you because this is like this, when you need a change of perspective and energy, this is a little bit of a quick fix, but hey, it works because think about it. I, I'd like you to imagine a time when you were sad, or imagine people that you've seen who are sad. When we're sad, we do this. This is the body language, right? We just look down and it's almost like we melt into the ground or into the floor. We're like, oh, very low energy, no eye contact, no communication. I'm just shutting off, right? Because I'm sad and I just want to be with, I'm here with me and my feelings and my sadness. Okay, or I just feel like super low energy. What you can do is when you do a power pose, let's take the Wonder Woman superhero power pose, right? It's this. What happens in this power pose? Well, first of all, I straighten myself up and I look up. So when I say change in perspective, it's a literal change in perspective because I've moved my my gaze from down to up. So I actually see something different. And then it's this. I'm more grounded. I'm not melting into the floor. I'm balanced and I'm unshakable in this position because it's really, I'm grounded. My feet are ground on the floor. My arms and my hands give me balance, and it's a different kind of energy. I basically, what I did with this is I shook off my old energy from here to here. Okay, let's change it. Let's try something else. So that is a good exercise. And you can try it now, by the way, and see, check your body posture and see what it is. If you're relaxed, it's fine. You don't need to do it. You can try it though and see how that makes you feel. And if you are having maybe a low energy day and you need to prepare for a meeting that is important to you, and that's going to be a video meeting where people actually see you, you need to shake that old energy off and bring something new. So use power poses. And I'm going to put Amy Cuddy's TED Talk on how our body language shapes our mindset so that you can understand the science behind it. But I really recommend it when you're having as a recovery phase in the high performance cycle, right? You're having a slower day or a lower energy kind of day, and you need to boost yourself a little bit. You need to boost some energy. So that is what's going to be helpful. Now, at noon, just take 5. I know everybody's busy. I know. We're always going to be busy. And by the way, the thing is, especially now, if you're busy, that's good. There are people who are not busy anymore because they lost their job or they lost their business and They wish they were busy and they're not. So just take 5, stop and take 5 and appreciate what you've done that day. Because so many times we think about everything that could have gone better, everything that we missed doing, everything that we still have to do. And we very rarely think about those things that went well, that we've done well. So just take 5 and say something like, oh, you know what? I've actually had quite a productive day today. Look how many things I've done. That was a good meeting with my team. Just do that. Works wonders. And do a power pose again to change perspectives and energy. And breathing exercises. And I'm going to also put links to the breathing exercises that help you with your addiction, with your level of energy, with how you're going to deliver a speech if you have to, or before your important meetings or important conversations, how you are saying what you're going to say is crucial, especially in difficult conversations. So I will definitely share the breathing exercises with you. And in the evening, just think about 5 things that were great that day. You can journal, recall, or record them, whatever works for you. But it just gets you into a more positive mindset, thinking about, okay, fine, I have these challenges, I have these issues that I need to solve, but that's for tomorrow. Tomorrow's another day. This is what I've done, and this is what's happened to me today that was great. Listen to a meditation or read. Why? Because it relaxes you and it puts you into that state of relaxation that we need for quality sleep. Because, and by the way, get off your device an hour before bed. Because when, first of all, the blue light doesn't help us get into that relaxation state that we need for quality sleep. And also it's the dopamine and adrenaline levels that we get from just scrolling down on social media like that and expecting something interesting to show up next on the screen. That again doesn't let relaxation join us. So, because really what we're looking at is the quality of sleep. You don't need just quantity, you also need it to have good quality. So, what I would like to ask from you to try, again, I I don't want to give ultimate advices. I don't believe in that. Everyone is different. Everyone has their own pace, their own rhythm, their own schedule, their own reality around them that allows them to do one thing or another. But what I'm asking you to do is try things out and choose your morning, day, evening routine, and then schedule it in your calendar. And why that is because anyway, our personal and professional lives right now, they're so mixed and there's such a fine line between them, right? The way that you treat your private activities is important, and that's your business, and it will have a huge impact on work, on your productivity. You're having a good day, top energy, focus, everything, that's going to have an impact on your productivity for that day. So that's important business and it's yours. So schedule it, and schedule it again, depending on what's possible for you. Don't have unrealistic expectations. Start with a 30-day practice, and then you monitor what works and what needs to be changed. And then you embed those changes and schedule the next 30 days. What you have to do is allocate 90 days for this to become a routine. You want a routine, a self-care routine in place. You need to tweak it and you need to give it time. Again, anything that is important to us takes time. It doesn't come like that. Because integrating change and habits happens in batches. And the first 30 days are going to be hard. The next 30 days are going to be messy. And only the next 30 days are going to be beautiful. So for you to be able to experience results and like the results that you're seeing, that is going to take time. And again, allow for time so that you can integrate change in habits, because that is going to help you perform at high levels long term, not just for a sprint. You're in for a marathon here. So what I will do, I will definitely share these links, and the link to Amy Cuddy's TED Talk and my emotional intelligence course that I was telling you about. And now let's look at what we can do. We've taken care of ourselves. Let's look at what we can do to build, engage, and motivate our dream team. Here we're talking about the power of team leadership in the long run. It's all about long term. We're not dealing with sprints. We're dealing with marathons. We're dealing with high performance on long term. So that is why we talk about the power of team leadership. And if you're managing people and teams, don't separate yourself from the team. As the leader, as the manager of that team, you're a very important part of it. The key word here is part of it. So, because we're talking about building a new future of work, you know the definition of insanity. Doing the same thing over and over again and expecting different results. Well, we need different results right now because, again, the reality around us has changed and is changing by the minute. So we need to come up with ways of working differently. Because if we keep doing what we've always done, how can we expect to get different results, right? And we cannot operate doing what we've always done because it doesn't work anymore. So I wanted to share this study from WeWork on work from home impact. And they interviewed a group of people. 90% of those people said that they wanted to return to the office at least one day per week. Now, 20% of that 90% said that they wanted to return 5 days a week. Also, think about the 10% who are not here, who probably either didn't answer or said something like, well, I don't mind working from home. That works for me very well. I don't need to be in the office at all. So only this already tells you how different we are in the way that we work. Some of us need more connection, physical. I need to see people. I need to share the space physically with them so I don't feel isolated, so I feel productive, so I feel that I can perform at high levels. Some of us don't need that. I'm fine with working on my own and just reaching out now and then when I need help or when they need help from me. In that same study, they were looking at what comes next. And the first thing that came up was that long-term business success relies on creativity and innovation, and that they come from productive collaboration. And why that is important is because with collaboration, that means that you already are working on a basis of trust. If we can collaborate well, that means that I trust you to let you know what works for me, what doesn't work for me, and the other way around, where we trust each other well enough and we know each other well enough to communicate that and to reach a common ground, to go for a mutual agreement, right? This is what collaboration means, and that actually includes a lot of trust. The second thing was that teams need flexibility for collaborative work. And here we think about everyone that answered in this study and their working styles, their personality styles, their reality at home. You want me to participate in discussions and come up with ideas and contribute. I need to be able to actually do that, because if I need to take care of maybe young kids at home who are also learning online, I will be able to do that when I'm able to actually do it. For instance, to give just an example, right? I might need to take my kid to school in the morning, so I might not be available for a call at 8:30 because I'm on my way back from school. So the kind of flexibility that we're talking about also considers work environment at home. So personal life, because personal life is part of the professional life when you work from home like that. And the fact that companies need to rethink in-person interactions to prioritize health and to allow for culture building. So when we talk about health here, we really talk about physical and mental health, right? They're both health. And when we say culture building, remember that it's people who build the culture, not the other way around. So you're building culture, you and your team, you and your business partner, you and your organization, you are building the culture, because that is the definition of culture, is the way, this is how we do things around here that make us be and feel successful. This is culture. And culture is changing depending on how people do what they do, how people work together so that they are successful. In especially in this reality, in this changing environment, expect that the culture will change as well. This is why you need flexibility in your team, in your organization, in your business, because that allows, that already, as a culture, as one of your values, that already says a lot. That means that you're going to be able to adapt and look at new ways of doing things depending on what's needed. So here are some ideas for productive collaboration when we talk about teams, right? First, team communication. In teamwork, silence isn't golden, it's deadly. And especially in this environment where we talk about collaboration, flexibility, don't even think about it. You don't communicate, you're dead. You don't communicate, you don't have a team. You just have a group of people who work together, who have to work together because they don't enjoy it. So what I want to say here is, and I love this quote from Mary Poppins, by the way, and I think especially now it's so important, talking about mental health. In every job that must be done, there is an element of fun. And again, we talk about the dream career, the dream business, the dream team. That included fun. That included me feeling good about stuff that I'm doing and us enjoying working together and creating great memories together. I mean, we spend a lot of time of our lives working. One of the reasons I don't like the phrase work-life balance is because life includes work. Work is part of our life as well. And not to mention, especially when you think about virtual work, working from home, working from anywhere, there is no delimitation anymore, right? And I'm very much alive at work. I'm not dead at work. We came from this concept from the industrial age that work is something that helps us pay the bills. But work has developed so much because our expectations and our dreams about our life, about having a happy life, included having this dream career, dream work, dream business. Okay, so getting back to communication. First of all, formal communication, which you already know about. But what I want to say is this: revive phone calls and conference calls. Communication that is not video communication, because yes, virtual meetings have taken over. Emails were there already, flooding us almost. We knew how to work with shared workspaces before. What I see happening a lot is communication happening a lot on video, and people being required to stay glued to their chair or desk or whatever. And that's not healthy, and that's not productive if it's ongoing. So try to break that with conference calls or phone calls. Why? In my example, that you might be getting people who are dropping their kids to school and then coming back in the morning. You want to organize a team meeting at 8:30 in the morning. There are people who return from school at that time, and they don't have access to the internet. You don't want them to be on a video call with you while driving, but they can join on the phone because they have the network, they have hands free, and they can join the conversation. So talk about flexibility depending on the reality of people on the team, right? Think about what works and what doesn't work. Don't tell them, oh, but your work schedule is 8 to 4 or 8 to 5 or 9 to 6. No, 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 no. That doesn't work anymore, because actually what's happened with working from home is that people have worked for longer and during incredible hours. Because of this, there is no longer a 9 to 6. You have people working at 10 p.m. And then you cannot ask them to be on all the time when it works for you. You have to consider what works for them as well. Also, what happens with phone calls, you have people who are more kinesthetic, so people who need to move to think. They have high levels of energy, but they need movement. Torture them and ask them to be on video all the time and stay and sit down all the time for the team meetings that you're having. Or offer them the alternative of actually having a phone call with you as they are on their morning walk. Or even if they're at home, how many times do you do this? You're on the phone with somebody and you just walk up and down the house talking to them. And think about all of the productive ideas that you're getting because of that, because movement enhances creativity and innovation. It does. This is why we come up with sometimes the wildest ideas when we run or when we exercise. So try to revive phone calls. That was a long, a long case for phone calls. Now, for informal communication, that is crucial, and that is what was missing when the crisis started and when people who didn't used to work from home started to work only from home, because we were missing water cooler conversations, coffees in the morning with our team, in-person meetings, lunches together, team building stuff that we were doing, and all of that. Well, you can still do it, and you have to do it to help people get themselves out of isolation and feel engaged and feel that they matter and feel that they're still together, although they're behind a screen. So you can still organize virtual lunches and coffees and parties. You can organize pajama parties now very easily, right? I mean, group chats, phone calls. What I love recommending recommending is virtual working sessions, because what we do is we share the working space together, only that this time is not, it's not the office, it's the virtual space, right? So we meet, you can meet with your team on Zoom, Teams, whatever it is that you're using, right? And you just work together. You don't have to stare at each other like that, okay, like in a meeting, and then you're glued and you're stuck there. No, you all start working. Let's say you're working on a project and you schedule 1 hour or 2 hours to work together the next morning. You're all on Zoom, you start working, and at some point I'm thinking about something that I'm not sure of, and I ask my question. I say something like, oh, where's that document that we need for this client? Where is it saved? And I get my answer immediately from somebody on the other side of the screen. I don't have to text you anymore. I don't have to email you anymore. We're there. I'm getting my answer fast. Or I can say something like, you know what? I'd like to get myself a coffee. Who wants one? Now, I'm not going to be able to bring you a coffee, but what you can say is, well, you know what? Actually, that's a good idea. I'll get one too. And we're having coffee together as if we were sharing that same office space. Um, and it's easy, and it helps you feel that you're not alone, you're not isolated. You can still take your client meetings, your client calls, you can do your stuff, it does again, but just work together, not the whole day, not every day, but from time to time. And that enhances productivity and reduces isolation and anxiety caused by isolation. Okay, that's one thing. And then the next important thing when we talk about engaging and motivating your team is looking and noticing, paying attention, paying positive attention to people, because that enhances productivity. And here's why. We look at team resourcing right now. Um, and because we talked about the WeWork study on working from home and on different working styles, I want to leave this here for a while for you to read these questions. Now, if you're leading or managing a team, these are good questions to look at and answers to look for that will help you to manage your team better already. If you work on a team that you're not managing, that's still good. By the way, you can use the same questions for team family. I mean, really, team family is super important when you work from home all the time and when all of you work from home or learn from home. But understanding different working styles is crucial, and understanding them in ourselves first and then in the people that we work with. And yes, we do have a lot of tools that we can use. We have personality assessments that we can use, like DISC, social drivers, Belbin team roles, Myers-Briggs personality styles, that tell us about people's preferences and strengths and things that they can improve personality wise. We also have the game changing index, the GC index. And the GC index, I'm going to tell you a little bit about it because that's a newer tool and it's not a personality assessment. It does not look at personality, it measures impact. So, what the GC index does is it profiles the ways in which you feel most engaged and energized when it comes to making an impact upon your world, either at home or at work. So it looks at how you're making your best contribution on your world, in your team, in your business, in your organization. And there are five proclivities, five inclinations, and they're all measured on a scale from 1 to 10. So think about it. You have five categories, a 1 to 10 scale that gives you about 100,000 possible combinations when you're actually taking the assessment. What this tells you is it looks at ways in which people impact the business, the organization, the team. So you have people who are game changers, the ones who create original ideas. So they don't rely on the tried and tested so much. They're the creators of new ideas completely out of the blue and something that that no one has thought about before. And then you have people who are strategists and who are able to make sense of these ideas. Because you might have the best idea ever. If people around you don't get it, don't understand it. And by the way, one of the frustrations of game changers is that people don't get them because the idea is clear in their head, but it's a bit difficult for them to communicate it so that it's clear for the others why that idea is important to them. So that's where they might be working very well with strategists, because strategists are able to understand ideas and give them a pragmatic side and make sense of them and make the plan, prioritize. They will be the ones who will be asking, okay, that's a great idea. Do we have the resources? Is this the right moment? Can we start with this and then leave the second part of this idea for later? They really give structure and meaning to ideas. And then you have implementers. They are people who are very hands-on. They make things happen. They build the future, right? But they build it based on plans and strategies, right? Sometimes it's very difficult for implementers to work with game changers. Game changers can be scary because, look, I have this project to do. We already have a lot of work to get done. We have deadlines, we have projects, we don't have time for new ideas. And the thing is, it may be that one of those ideas might be helping them implement what they need to implement easier and better. But because they don't fully grasp the idea, because it's not presented well enough by game changers, they don't necessarily understand it. So it can be scary. So that's where a strategist can come in and say, well, actually, look, this is the plan and this would be the priorities. What do you think about it? And then the implementers would be able to have a better picture of the stuff that needs to get done and how that's going to help them. The polishers are the ones who look at your services, your products. They look at them and they see how they can make them better. They're the ones who would take, I don't know, an old car and transform it into a Rolls Royce, right? So you might be having, these are people that you might be having on the team. You can use, you can communicate with differently so that they come up with a brilliant use for something that you already have. Maybe you don't have to reinvent the wheel all the time. Maybe you can repurpose some of the services or products that you have, and that's what a polisher would see immediately. And these are people who care about quality a lot. They're very, very, almost like picky on quality. And that's good. If you have people working in quality assurance, you need polishers on that role because it will be easy for them to do it. For them, it's just natural. It's where they put their energy. And then you have the playmakers. They're the ones who bring everyone together and they know how to prevent conflict. They know how to solve conflicts. They know how to spot talent. They're like coaches on a sports team. They know who should be where and playing what so that they give their best results. So if you need to put together a team for a project that you're, or for a new project, you might have people who are playmakers on the team who can help you on that. And by the way, they can help you with organizing social events for your team as well. And you might already know who these people are on the team. So I wanted to give you this example of Nike and how they use the GC index to motivate all of the people on their team. Because the problem was this. Maxim number one at Nike was, it is our nature to innovate. That said, so that is a very important part of their culture, right? Okay. People who are game changers, who have this inclination of game changer strategists, so idea focused, they resonated very well with this maxim, right? Oh, yeah, perfect. Of course, like for me, it's easy to innovate, work with innovation, understand innovation. I resonate with that. And because I resonate with that, I know how I can contribute. To me, it's clear the contribution. It's an important contribution that I'm making for the organization, right? Okay, I resonate. And because I resonate, I feel included. I feel I matter. We all want to feel we matter, by the way. And when we talk about motivation, engagement, and inclusion, that's what we mean. Helping people feel that they matter, that what they do matters for a higher purpose, for what you're trying to achieve together. So of course they resonated, right? But what do you do about the people who are more task focused or relationship focused, right? So the implementers, the polishers, and the playmakers. It was easy for them to feel disengaged and demotivated because, well, okay, so what? I'm not innovative enough, or how do I contribute if I just like to get things done? I don't come up with a bazillion ideas per minute. So how exactly am I an important part of this team? And what this GC index framework did for them, it gave them a common language, an easy to understand language, so they understand what all of them contribute with. So for the implementers, it was clear that, you know what? I'm helping you build something that nobody else builds. That's huge, right? Thinking about higher purpose. Of course, they felt motivated and engaged, right? They were working towards something big, right? They were helping implement, build something that hadn't been done before. Or for the polishers, it helped them understand that they can improve something that already exists and create a future to be proud of. Wow, that, talk about higher purpose. And for the playmakers, it helps them understand, well, look what you're doing. You're accelerating possibilities through relationships. Because we don't waste time. We work well together because we get to know each other, and you're helping them and you see possibilities and talents. So that was a complete shift of paradigm for all of these individuals and teams, thinking, okay, so this is what I'm best contributing with. And this is what I'm valued for. And this is how I feel valued. This is the kind of motivation that you want to give your people, that you want to enable for your people, because you cannot give it. It's intrinsic motivation. It's internal. No matter how much you're gonna tell them, oh, you're wonderful, you're great, you work great, I love the way that you work, I love everything that you do. If it doesn't come from them, you can pay them great money. You and I both know people who had a great salary, seemed to have a great role in an organization and they still left because they did not feel motivated and engaged. They did not feel heard. So they did not feel that they mattered. The real motivation and engagement is internal. So that is what you, as somebody who manages people and teams, that's something you can enable. So know your team and ask for help. And you can look at all of these short descriptions of the 5 roles that I was talking about. And they're not 5 inclinations, right? 5 ways in which people can make an impact. Look at this and think about your team. Think about your business, your organization. What happens there? Who do you think might fall under what category? And then where would you be? What do you think? What would be your main impact, your main contribution, the kind of contribution that helps you feel energized rather than feel completely depleted? It's not that, it's like some people love working with budgets and it energizes them. For me, it not at all. It doesn't mean I can't do it. I will do it because I have to do it. But at the end of that exercise, I'm completely exhausted and I need like 2 days to recover. No, I mean, I'm sure you have your own examples of work that makes you feel good about the stuff that you do, and then work that you do because you have to do, but it's not where you would put your energy naturally if anyone asked you, okay, what can you do today? So think about it. Think about your contribution, your impact, and try to spot the impact that your team members might have. Um, and talking about motivating your dream team, really, it all comes down to understanding and knowing your individual role and business impact, and then understanding theirs. And then the minute that we start to notice what the triggers are for motivation and engagement, that's when we can also reduce burnout and demotivation and frustration. And that's when we stop losing great team members, because we all know what motivates us. And we know how to not get to the point where we get into conflict and that becomes an issue, but we can work together again to reach a common agreement and a solution that works for everybody. And then understanding these styles helps us accommodate styles. And that goes back to flexibility. And that gives you more collaboration. That builds on your trust as a team, that builds on your collaboration abilities. And that is going to have absolutely visible results for your business and for your organization. Of course, you're going to see results, right? Because you will be able to work together better. And whatever you do, focus on purpose, because this is what talking about collaboration and maximizing individual and team potential. It's like a roadmap. The minute I know where I'm supposed to go, where we're heading, then I will know what I can contribute with. So I can offer to drive, or I can offer to play some road music for everybody, or I can offer to, I don't know, change the tires, or I can look for alternative routes to get us there faster or better. But I need to know where we're getting. So for you, again, focus on purpose. Let them know where you're going. Let them know the why. because then they will come up with ways in which they can contribute to that why. And talking about your motivation and engagement, get support and ask for help. Leaders who ask for help are able to help others better, because the minute we ask for help, we're more vulnerable. When we give help, when that happens, that feels great. We're also in a position of power when we offer our help, because we know how to help. We have the power to help. But then when we ask for help, we feel vulnerable because we don't have the solution and we depend on other people's input. But that is why that is so powerful, because that means that you're opening up and you're saying, look, I don't have all of the answers. What can we do to find the answers together? So try to find your tribe and get support where you feel heard without feeling judged, without feeling that, hey, I have to do this because this is the expectation. I have to know the solution because this is what everybody expects from me. No, we're try to find a space where you can brainstorm solutions without necessarily having any kind of expectations, or at least minimizing them, or stop having unrealistic expectations. So get your support system in place, your support network in place, and use the power of community. I mean, after all, the hashtag all in this together means exactly that. You have to find a community that helps you learn, that helps you grow, that helps you develop, that helps you feel supported and heard, because you can't always put your challenges on your team or on your business partner, on your manager, or on your family, right? They have their own challenges. So sometimes you need a space that is safe outside of this world of work and home, where you can brainstorm with other people as well. So finding your tribe, that's going to be crucial in helping you grow further, in helping you develop as a manager, as a leader, and really as a professional. Okay, so now it's time to answer my question. Who's taking care of you and how? And you remember I was telling you about community? Join the Lead for Legacy League. This is a global community of continuous learning and support, of brainstorming and networking with peers. You have people who manage teams and people from different corners of the world. And you're getting assessments and strategies for you and your team, access and discounts to 250 plus award-winning online courses in leadership and sales and customer service. Regular group coaching, that's going to be huge in actually helping you apply the learning from the online courses and apply it on your situations, on your issues, your case studies. Q&As, discussions, guest speakers that we're bringing from various industries, and also speaking opportunities for you if that is something that you'd like to do. And as we grow, we're going to cover so much more, but we have this community that learns together and support each other. That is crucial. That is essential. And it's a kind of management and leadership program that is more tailored to your needs, that does not put pressure on you that, okay, you have to take this program, and then once you've taken it, you will know what to do. And the expectation is super high. Also, I'm not talking to really top executive level here. I'm talking to people who have their boots on the ground, they're hands-on, management day by day. They have to manage teams and situations and difficult challenges and projects, and need the technical skills, even if it's soft skills, managing people. You have to know what some techniques are that you can use that are helpful for you as a manager and that are going to help you grow your team as a team leader as well. So it's the technical knowledge, and then how do I actually apply that? And you get continuous support. So what I'm offering, you have three options, by the way, and it's actually pretty flexible. The option number one is where you're getting the full online training package with 8 course modules in emotional intelligence, coaching and mentoring, expertise, employee retention, career development, responsible initiative change, time, and project management, right? So you're getting all of that. The time management comes free. You're getting the GC Index individual assessment and a one-on-one session with me where we debrief it, we look at it, your leadership style, your teamwork style, and everything. And we strategize. We put together your strategy as a manager and leader. And you're getting special discounts to all of the online course modules and assessments. And then you get access to the community. And we have weekly meetings. You get self-care events that we organize, group coaching, brainstorming and networking. We really discuss solutions, and we really give answers to your specific questions. You go and do a course, you have questions. Okay, I understand this is how it's done, or this is how it's supposed to work, but here is my situation. This does not, I don't think this works for me. What can I do to solve this situation right now? And then we brainstorm, we go through coaching, and we go through a lot of support stuff that we're able to provide to each other so that you leave with some solutions and some new things that you can try. You have access to all the library materials in the league. You'll get special prizes that I'm not going to tell you about right now. And that for a special discounted monthly group membership. Now, the second option is very much the same, only that you're getting just 3 courses. So the emotional intelligence, time management that comes with it free, and 1 more course of your choice. This is for people who don't want to take the full package of courses, which, by the way, the minute that you buy them, you have access to them for a full year. So you don't have to do everything at once. You will have access to them. They will be there for you. You go and check whatever you need to, the information that you need to understand and to learn, but you have access to them for the full year. But if you feel that 8 modules is too much and it might be overwhelming, this is why I included option 2 in the package. Now, option 3 is where you really want to build your own course package. You look at this, you look at the modules that I have, we can discuss and see what your needs are, what your struggles are, and what would be the best fit for you. You might decide, you know what, I'm going to start with 1 course, with 1 module, let's say with change management. And then I'm going to continue with the next ones because this is what works for me. So again, I included these 3 options because I think it's crucial. Again, talking about flexibility, it's crucial that this works for you. We make it work for you. And the beautiful thing about it, you're not left alone. It's not like online courses work as much like any course, like any training program, any leadership development program. They only work if you're able to apply them. So the monthly membership is here for that, because you might get the learning from the course, but then it's the practice, it's the motivation, it's the engagement, it's talking to other people and getting some completely different perspectives than yours. And that boosts your development 100 times. So I'm looking for your questions and comments as we're wrapping this up. And as I am running some of the client feedback that I have, again, from the dream bosses that I have the pleasure to be working with, and from people who went through the Game Changing Index profile and report and strategy session, it was very helpful in clarifying how they make their best impact and what they can focus on further, and also some of their development points. Absolutely. Also, if you're looking at scaling your team and bringing more people on the team and getting that hire right, this is the GC Index is a tool that helps you do that very well. It's not that you will be using just the GC Index for the hire, but it will tell you the kind of impact that that new hire can make on your team or on the organization. And from a business goal perspective, and that's super helpful. And okay, that being said, we are at the end of our session today. So thank you very much for being with me. I really hope that it helped you clarify some of the things that you can do for yourself, for your team, so that you're successful together, you're motivated together, and you feel like you're moving in the right direction business wise, right? So if you want to continue the conversation, you want to know more about the league, you want to discuss the best option for you, I will put the link to more details about the league in the description. You can also ask your questions or join the league. Just email me, all@personalskillscoach.com. The payment options are also flexible depending on what works best for you, what your needs are, what we can start with to get you unstuck, get you out of isolation, and get you on track for personal and professional development, and for you to be able to build your dream and build your career, build your business and your dream team. If you bring a friend, you also get a discount on your monthly membership forever. So let's talk about it and see what the options are for you. And don't forget, whatever you do, build your dream, eyes wide open. You can also build it in great company if you join the league. Otherwise, whatever you do, keep dreaming, keep enabling your dream, experiencing your dream, build your dream team and your dream life, and not just on the weekends or on holidays, but during the week when you work too. And build a future that you're proud of for yourself and for generations to come. Thank you very much, and see you around.